Hey, mate. Hold on. You're running 7th, Gareth. Well done.
Hello and welcome. So, Cookies Rambles, episode 25. 25 weeks through a year or something like that. I think that's what I said last week, isn't it? So, currently sat in what is our master bedroom. Got Bessie walking around on the floor around me. And we're having the carpets done this week. So, we've got clothes all over the floor in here. Mattresses downstairs in the living room. And getting ready so that we've got some space for the carpet fitters. It's been quite a big week of training, and this week I've got over 100 miles, so I'm on 101.8 miles, so into the swing of it now. Worked out, we're about 14 weeks out from Berlin, and ready to rock and roll. So getting some base miles in, all easy aerobic sort of stuff, no pushing it, no too serious, but just nice and easy. Garmin told me I had a new lactate threshold as well this week, which is something different. Don't really listen to Garmin stuff and information too much. Can tell you that you're overtraining or undertraining or in recovery after you've gone eyeballs out or whatever you've done, and it just might not be quite right with the algorithm, but it's there or thereabouts. So anyway, I got a new lactate threshold, which it came up, I think, 5:35 pace this week, 178 beats a minute. And it's also detected that I've got a new max heart rate of 200 beats a minute. So if you're going off the old 220 minus your age, I'm doing 9 years better than my age, because it should be 191. So not too bad. So this week of training, kicked off on Monday. So 16 miles Monday. Ended up running about 10 mile with Kai. Around 7 mile with Kai, and then 3 doing laps around the field near his, and then came back home. So nice and easy 10 mile. And then in the evening, Naomi went and did the Trunts at Oughtibridge, which is a 6k like fell race. That was quite cool to go and watch. I've done it a few times, but I know that I don't like off-road running and off-road racing, so I try and avoid the Trunts. Crosses the river 3 times, and then goes up and down Trun's farm and around the quarry and all that sort of stuff. It was a bit warm, so I didn't take Bessie this week. I did 5.8 mile around watching the Truns. Ran through Fergulin Tunnel as well, which is an old railway tunnel on the TPT, and it was freezing cold down there. I'd say it was 30 degrees in the air, but I'd say it was about 15 degrees going through the tunnel because of the old brickwork and stuff. So when it does get too hot, I know where I'm going. And then Tuesday, I was half and half whether I'm going to go and do the session in the evening. So I got up in the morning, ran 8 mile. And then as the day progressed, my hamstring had been a little bit niggly and it just needed stretching, like a little bit of tightness in it. Stretched it, foam rolled it, massaged it, and then that seemed to ease off. So went and did the session Tuesday evening with the lads and lasses from the speed team. They started off, so we did a warm-up, and then they did one 1200 metre. Because I'm sensible, I dodged the 1200 metre, and then I did 5 by 800 with the group with 200 jog recovery, and then 2 by 400 with 200 jog recovery, and then a cool down. Gave me 8 mile for the session, averaged like under 5 minute miles for the session as well, which was quite good, and felt quite sharp. And I'm quite thankful, to be honest, that I missed the 1200, because my legs would definitely not have been able to hack that. So session Tuesday boxed off, nice and easy. Woke up Wednesday, because mentally I'd done less of a session than everyone else. My legs didn't hurt. So felt fine Wednesday morning when I went out running. And then ended up doing, I said to Kai, how far are you doing when we went out for a jog? And he goes, oh, 7. So I goes, all right, we'll do 7. He picked the route, ended up being 7.66. So I'm not going to complain. Wednesday night I was racing. So Oughtibridge Chase. So it's a gala. It's a little village just outside of Barnsley in Sheffield on the border. I've had the trophy for the last 2 races. So ran it in 2019. It was cancelled in 2020 due to COVID and all that sort of stuff. Cancelled in 21, and then ran the race again in 2022. Got the trophy again because I won the race again. So he texted me on Monday night, I think, and said he coming down to do the Oughtibridge Chase, or can I arrange to pick up the trophy? And I thought, oh, go on then, I'll have another go at it. So it's 6k roughly, and it's about 600 foot of climb. So for Barnsley, it's flat. So you run about 1.8 mile uphill and then 1.8 mile downhill, and it's a fast downhill. So I think I split a 4:50 minute mile coming back down for one of the miles. Finishes on the field, and it's like a proper old school gala. So we pick the trophy up next Saturday. But it's an old school like village fete gala. They have a sports night, they have kids races on, then the main race is the adult stocks Oughtibridge Chase. Quite cool. And I think I put on like my Facebook post the other day, like this is where like running and grassroots running begun, which is it takes you a step back in time, and it's like grassroots sports. Like you've got your Ashbourne, Shrove Tide, mob football. You've got cheese rolling down in Gloucestershire. You've got all this like grassroots. You have cricket against other cricket villages and all that sort of stuff, and it just feels ace when you're there. So yeah, ended up running the Oughtibridge Chase anyway. Ran 21:56 on my watch, which is the slowest time I've ever done on it. I think I've done 21:51 and then 21:30 something as well. But did manage to finish first place again. It was warm Wednesday. Couple of mile warm up, couple of mile cool down, boxed 15 mile off on Wednesday. Good, confident, and got a lot of confidence from the race as well, especially going downhill because I'm not strong going downhill. And it's a gravel like dirt track through Oughtibridge Woods, and that felt ace. Like had complete confidence, had some alpha flies on. Confidence in my ability to go downhill, confidence in my shoes, and it felt mint. At the gate at the bottom there were a van park, so we had to dodge that a little bit. So I'm blaming that's why I ran a little bit slower-ish. But yeah, enjoyed it, and if you want to do it, have a look for it next year, because honestly it's a mint race. Thursday, so went out 10 mile in the morning, did 5 mile with Kai, 5 mile on my own, and then in the evening got home. Naomi were at the front door, Paddy in because her bike had run out of charge. So she got electric gears. She was going to go on a long bike ride. Couldn't because it had run out of charge. She put it on charge. And then we were going to a quiz night at one of the pubs near us. So I was going running, like I was going to 5 mile. So I said to Naomi, oh, do you fancy coming up mountain bike with me and I'll run? So we drove down to Silkstone Wagon Way, which is an old coal rail trail near here. And I ran 5 mile on Silkstone Wagon Way with Naomi for company on the bike, which is obviously good to spend time with the other half whilst doing a little bit of training as well. She got something out of it as well because she's constantly pushing on the mountain bike rather than push-pulling like she does on the road bike. Then into Friday, so the swing of Friday, again 5 with Kai, 5 on my own. And then that was it for Friday. So ran once, sticking to my promise. And just keeping it short and simple for Recovery Friday. Enjoyed it. It was nice weather again, but it wasn't as warm as what it had been earlier in the week. And then drove through to Naomi's parents on Friday night. Got there, I think we had spag bol Friday night. Favourite meal, best meal, love it. No one can ever tell me spag bol's not the best meal in the world. Went to Hull parkrun Saturday morning. So went to Hull Parkrun a couple of weeks ago. Love Hull Parkrun. Like, it's just pancake flat. It's nice and easy, and you can go fast really without trying so much. So, and there's usually quite a lot of geese and ducks and swans and all that sort of stuff on the path anyway. There's a nice little chap that sits in the woods at the bottom as well with music playing, which gives it a bit of an atmosphere. And he sits there on his mobility scooter and plays some old school music tunes. But yeah, I love that. So Saturday morning, did 3 mile before parkrun. So pulled up, ran 3 mile around the streets before we did parkrun, and then Hull Parkrun. So set off quite quick. I think we clocked a 5-10 minute mile for the first 400. So I mentioned it, I split my watch in 400s. 5-10 minute mile for the first 400, and then kind of settled from there. No one really came with me, but I didn't want to get into a race today, and I'll explain why later in the video. End up clocking anyway, 5:20 pace for the full thing, and 16:32. So not too bad. Enjoyed it, and it was nice to be back at Hull. I need to get under sub 16 there sometime. Honestly, can't seem to click it when it comes to parkrun, but on race day it's completely different. And then after, jogged back to the car with Naomi, who ran 20:30 something, and then jogged back to the car, and then I went and did 6 mile. Naomi went and did 5. So just kept it nice and easy, just jogging, just through the motions, nothing too serious, nothing too strenuous. And then on to Sunday. So I knew that 16 mile would get me over 100, but on the plan, I wanted 17 today. So sat last night planning routes around Naomi's parents, ended up on the TPT that leads into Hornsey, around Hornsey Mere, and picked up East Hull 20's route as well through Long Riston and all that sort of stuff. And through Swine and Sigglesthorne and everything. But yeah, 17.5 mile boxed off. Majority of it, probably about 8-9 mile of it, was off-road on the rail trail, which is like, it's not as well looked after, but it's nice and flat over there. So it does hold water in winter, but in summer it's like a dirt track, and it's ace. So yeah, on the rail trail into Hornsey, came off at the Mere, and then ran on the main road back to Cattick. 17.5 mile, nice and flat. Nothing too fast. Did keep it at like, I think it was about 7 minute mile pace. Heart rate stayed relatively low, like zone 1, zone 2 sort of stuff. But yeah, enjoyed it. Feel quite good now. Don't feel too lethargic or too tired. Complete flip to how I felt on last Sunday's run, where I was stopping and starting and having to stop for a drink at York Selby Cycle Tracks Free Cafe. But yeah, enjoyed it. So 101.8 mile for the week. I'm not doing a 2.2 to round it up to 102. I'm not that sad, but yeah, nice and easy miles in the bag. I've raced this week. I have done a session this week, and I've done an half decent parkrun as well. It's getting to that time of the year where I looked on, I think it was Thursday last week, we could race every single night if we wanted to. We've got like York 5Ks, you've got your local Higham Hurtle, Silkston Shuffles, Damflass Relays coming up. You've got, there's a race that Rotherham and Kimbuff are organising, like a Ollie Res or something like that. There's races every single night if you want it, so you don't have to run on your own. But there's there could be an issue with that. If you race all the time and you're going eyeballs out all the time, there's going to be one key thing that you're going to neglect, and that's recovery. So as Naomi's left to go swimming, she's asked me to go to look at the calendar and look at races, And I'm going to do that, but I'm going to pencil them in. I'm going to look very specifically to where they can fit in the training diary and all that sort of stuff, so we can shape so we don't do too much, because it's summer, it's light nights, there's races on, there's places to go. Hull's doing a 5k series on Tuesday nights. Like, you could race every night and it could be to your own detriment. So as you're approaching the summer and the light nights and the beautiful weather and all that sort of stuff, and you're probably going to be dehydrated because of the nice hot weather as well, just be mindful that you don't race too much. You listen to your body and not what the calendar or other people are dictating you to do, what to do. So just be careful that you don't toe the line this summer way too much, so that you're causing yourself harm or detriment to chasing your times and your PBs. And I get it, there's some people out there that really do love racing, and historically and realistically right now, I'm one of them. I love racing. I love putting a number on my chest and trying to be fast, and that's it. And I love the community that's around racing and running and all that sort of stuff as well. But as I've got wiser and smarter, I need to know that I can't race too much, because that's when I'll start picking up injuries, niggles, and breaking the bank as well. If you do look at my power of 10, I think including parkruns, I've done probably just short of 1,000 races or something like that, which is a lot. And I've been running for 11, 12 years or something like that, which is a while. But I have done and been there and done it, and I have raced every weekend. The weekends where I did Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, with bank holiday weekends and that. So just be careful that you don't race too much this summer, and you enjoy what you do. And if it is going out for social, slow, easy miles with your friends, that's fine. If it is racing, eyeballs out all of the time, and you're going to pick up an injury that's going to push you back a little bit, just be careful, because running is great, it's fantastic. Just don't do too much effort. Try and stick to the 80-20 rule, build your base, enjoy it, and all that sort of stuff as well. But yeah, next week, so I've got Damflass relays on Tuesday, probably do a session Thursday, and then see where we end up for parkrun next Saturday. We'll be going back to Oughtibridge Gala Saturday afternoon to pick up the trophy from this year, and then rest of the time it's going to be easy, long, slow, steady miles, letting the body recover. I've got a massage booked in with John Ackleton this week as well on Wednesday, so that'll be nice to refresh the legs a little bit and get them back to something like. But yeah, other than that, I'll see you next week.